In the history of video games, there are some franchises that stand out and stand the test of time. Final Fantasy, Tomb Raider, The Last of Us, games etched into eternity, remembered long after players have shuffled off their mortal coil or simply moved on from playing PlayStation. Other franchises shine like shooting stars. They burn brightly, but soon crash and burn, failing to keep up with modern times. In 2022, the brightest star of all has gone supernova. God of War, Kratos, the God Killer. After 17 glorious years on top of video game Mount Olympus, the reign of the Spartan warrior is over. Here's why God of War is a colossal disaster. Upon its release in 2005, the first God of War was met with universal acclaim. Superbly enjoyable, the story is compelling, the graphics are quite possibly the best on the PS2. The game received a litany of Game of the Year awards that cemented its place in the pantheon of PlayStation classics. The problem? That was 17 years ago, and the world was a very different place. A look at the top 10 box office movies in 2005 paints the full, horrifying picture. Number 1, Star Wars, Revenge of the Sith. 2, Harry Potter. 3, War of the Worlds. As you go down the list, one thing becomes abundantly clear. The top 9 movies are supremely white and predominantly male. In Star Wars, a white Master Jedi battles his young white apprentice to save the galaxy from an even whiter Emperor. The one black Jedi electrocuted and tossed out of a window. Harry Potter, white tween wizards team up to stop the Dark Lord Voldemort, another Dark Lord who just so happens to be whiter than a Bing Crosby song. Representation in 2005, Hitch at number 10. Will Smith teaches white men how to date. Coach Carter, Mace Windu survives his fall to suspend a high school basketball team so they can focus on their studies. Diary of a Mad Black Woman. This one speaks for itself. 2005 was a bygone era in which white males dominated the movie industry and the video game industry. It was no surprise that the ghost of Sparta, the whitest male, the malest male, smashed the PlayStation box office and swooped all the industry awards. The world was still shrouded in darkness, waiting for a social revolution. Fast forward to 2022 and God of War sticks out like a sore white thumb. Everything has changed. Audiences have changed. Expectations have changed. Modern video game players want diverse stories with diverse characters, giving them diverse experiences. In 2013, The Last of Us was a smashing success, a story about Joel, a white dad still grieving the tragic loss of his daughter, who finds an unlikely new daughter in Ellie. They traipse across a zombified America, stroking a few giraffes, enjoying a few laughs, and building a strong bond along the way. It's a heartwarming story, but just 7 years later, out of date and out of touch. In part 2, Joel becomes a hole-in-one for a new protagonist. Instead of Joel and Ellie, players are treated to the strong and independent Abby and her young companion, the transsexual Lev. At the end of the game, Ellie forfeits her chance to enact her revenge on Joel's killer and lets Abby off scot-free. Ellie may have killed more people than the trenches to reach her, but ultimately realizes revenge is a fool's folly, a Joel's folly, truly progressive. Tomb Raider in 1996 was a trailblazer. 3D graphics, dual pistols, and a body every teenage boy wanted to pin up on his bedroom wall. Lara Croft was a video game siren, known for her looks just as much as her game. In 2018, she is a shadow of her former self. Now her image screams style and sophistication. She's not here to be looked at, she's here to be listened to. Horizon Forbidden West goes one further. Aloy's face is transformed from plain Jane or average Aloy to Horizon Swipe West. There is almost no chance any male gamer will be pausing the action during a dark, lonely night, unless they've been drinking some forbidden fruit. Modern games not only want to make you play, they want to change the way you think. All new games replace their white, male protagonists with progressive new leads who balance the scales of social justice, Forspoken, Hogwarts Legacy, and soon enough, Grand Theft Auto. God of War Ragnarok, the latest iteration in the franchise, makes almost no attempt to bring the game into the 21st century. Kratos is still whiter than Frosty the Snowman, his son is still a son, and there's no representation in sight, all save for a character in Angerboda. This is unacceptable for a game set in old Scandinavia. The world no longer needs a god of war, it needs a goddess of peace. Angerboda should have rightly ascended to the throne. War never changes. The same could be said about God of War. Every game in the franchise is the same. Kratos goes on a testosterone-fueled warpath to avenge the death of his wife and daughter, the ones he killed. To achieve justice for his dead family, he becomes the God Slayer, first taking out every god the ancient Greeks ever worshipped, then turning his attention to the poor Norse gods. As Pink Floyd once said, Kratos, leave those gods alone. Modern video games should preach peace and tolerance. Where is Kratos' tolerance for religion? Not only does he disrespect their beliefs, he murders them in the most gruesome ways, ripping off their heads, snapping their necks, and plunging them to the icy depths. This sends out a dangerous message. While gamers may look the other way when Kratos is murdering ancient gods, what happens when he works his way down to the more recent ones? No one wants to see Kratos killing Jesus, because Jesus would keep coming back. If he can walk on water, he can certainly walk all over the Spartan warrior. A braver, more progressive choice from Santa Monica Studio would have been a reformed Kratos, a kinder Kratos, a Kratos who does not beat his foes to death with his bare hands or a couple of chaotic blades, but sits down to engage in dialogue, listen to the other side, show some empathy for their position. If he does not like their views, he can defriend or deplatform. There is no need to fight when you can take away their ability to speak. What Kratos needed was not bloodthirsty revenge, but a safe space to calm down. The Last of Us Part 2 showed the blueprint that God of War needed to follow. Kratos ripped up the blueprint and used it as toilet paper. Flushing modern storytelling down the toilet was a grave mistake. As expert video game reviewer Sang-Hyun Bae at IGN Korea points out, God of War is a boring game that continues monotonously without ending, and after the first half feels like a massive homework assignment. It may have the best graphics, the best action, and best acting ever seen on PlayStation, but its characters, its narrative, and its game design is stuck in 2005. Modern games have moved on, and it is time for the God of War franchise to move on too. No one on a long walk says, "This would make a great video game." No one riding an elevator leaps up and announces, "I want to do this in the virtual world." No father telling his teenage son to tidy up their room shouts out, "I want to do this on my PlayStation." Why has Santa Monica Studio put these everyday experiences in God of War? Video games are a way for people to escape the mundanities of the real world. The solutions are simple. Give Kratos a horse, a car, or a jetpack. Fill their elevators with elevator music.
Shut up already!
Make Atreus mute, or make him find his own way across the 9 realms. There are more flaws in God of War's game design than there are flaws in the Burj Khalifa. If it wants to keep up with modern classics, it needs a modern update. The new God of War is a colossal disaster. The characters are outdated, the story antiquated, and the game design frustrated. If this game was a piece of homework, it would be sent back with a note from the teacher, too white, Too male, 2005. Must try harder. Implicit bias training starts on Monday. In the world of video games, Kratos is a throwback to a time in which films, games, and other forms of entertainment were untouched by progressive values or signals of virtue. Buy this game at your own risk. Its power to trigger makes Spartan Rage look like a Spartan day at the spa.